Hello, Math 133 instructors. In this video, I'm going to try to help you set up and organize your instructor gradebook in MyStatLab. So here I am in my Math Lab, MyStatLab, and I'm going to click on the template course because I'm going to do this for a fake course that doesn't have any students in it. You will, of course, do it for the class that you have with students, but for FERPA reasons, I don't want to have any student names showing up in my video. Okay, so here I am, and if I click on my course tools, and I click on Instructor Gradebook, there's the gradebook, and it has all the assignments in here. If you click on Assignments, View All Assignments, you can see all the homework I have. So I have some lecture videos that were assigned, the homework, and so on. And these already were given point values in the template course. You can see that by if you look at the percent of the overall score. And this gives your students their MyStatLab score. That's not their score in the overall course, but that's their score in MyStatLab. So if I click on that, I can see now what it has to say. It thinks that these lecture videos are worth 1 point, the homework is worth 6 points, and I made every homework assignment in this semester that I'm making this video 6 points, and the videos are all 1 point. That means a total of 871 points by the time we're done. But that's just for the homework for my Math Lab, MyStatLab. And then I have these exams in here, which are offline categories: Exam 1, Exam 2, Exam 3, Project 1, Project 2, and the final. So let me save that real quick. Now, if I look at the weighting, and you can get to that from, let me go back to Instructor Gradebook real quick. You can see it when you look at the assignments. If you go to View All Assignments, you can see percent of overall score right here. You can also click on Change Weights, and I could have done that from the very beginning. So change weights there or right here, change weights. And I can tell it what I want it to be worth. And I'm trying to make it so that it matches my syllabus. So let me put the syllabus grading policy over here on the side for us to see. Oops, sorry, I'm having some problems. There we go. So I can see that I want my in-class homework to be 10%. I want my online, MyStatLab homework to be 10%. I want my exam 1 to be 15%, exam 2 to be 15%, exam 3 to be 15%. The projects to each be 5%, and the cumulative final to be 25%. So I made it so that the points are 250 for the final to get you 25%, 10% for the 2 projects, 450 for the midterm exams, that's exam 1, 2, and 3. The classwork, I made 10%, and the MyStatLab homework, which is this homework bit up here, I made it 100 points, which is 10%. So what you can do is you can add in categories, and as you add in categories and add in assignments, things will adjust based off of the points you put things in for. You can see here that my exam number 1 will be out of 100 points. That's why it says 100 points right here. But that's worth 15% of the overall grade in the course. Exam number 2 will be out of 100 points, but it'll be worth 15%. Exam number 3 is the same way. And then my projects and my final. Okay, so I'm done with this. Let me be done with that. So right now, the way it's weighting the grades would be appropriate. The only thing is that we don't have anything for the classwork. And I also want to make sure that all my offline categories are matching what I say they will be in the syllabus. So let me click on offline items. Let me click manage items for a second. So I want to inspect these. So let me look at exam 1. So if I click on exam 1 and I click edit item info and go, I can see that this is in the correct category. It's under midterm exams. It tells me it's exam 1. You can change the date if you so desire to whatever day it was due for your class. And it was out of 100 points, and it's worth 100 points in the weighting system. And that'll be 10 or 15%, excuse me. And you can adjust the chapters. And then you say next, and on the next screen will be a way you can enter grades. So normally if you have students in your class, there'll be a list of all the students in here, and you can go over here to the right where it says correct points, and you can type in the points that each student got on the exam. I can't do that here, of course, because I don't have any students in this class. But if I did, I could put their grades in right there. And then I would click save after I put the grades in, and then it will know how many students I have, how many students have scores, and all that good stuff. All right, so I have it so that all of the offline items in the template course are already taken care of and associated appropriately. So they should match the syllabus for you. So you can see project number 1 is under projects and so on. So now all you need to do is be able to add in your worksheet grades. So for that, what I would do is say done, or you can just click on Instructor Gradebook, either one, and you want to add an item. So I want to add a worksheet, say. So I'm going to add an offline item to any category in my gradebook, and I click Next. And I would do this for every single worksheet. So I click on classwork because worksheets or in-class quizzes, participation points, all of that would count under classwork. And I'm going to call it the 3.1 worksheet. And I'm going to say that it was out of, it doesn't matter, 24 points. And I'm going to click on the chapters and click select all chapters, turn that off, and make it just chapter 3 because that's all it was associated with. And click Save. As a matter of fact, I think I made that one out of 20 points. So let me grab that. And then I'm going to say Next. And then here I would be able to enter my student grades if I had students in this class. So right here I could put in my grades, or you can save it. You can leave it blank. You can put in all your worksheets ahead of time and then just save it and do it later. That works too. So once you have your student grades in there, save, or if you want to leave it blank for right now, just save it and then say okay. And now you'll have that in your weights for your worksheets. So if I click on weights, down here at the bottom, I can see there's the 3-1 worksheet, and it's got a little triangle next to it because it's an offline category, and it's worth 20 points. Now currently it's worth 10% of the grade because I only have one classwork assignment, and I said in the syllabus that classwork assignments were worth 10% of the grade. So right here in classwork. So as I add in more worksheets, so let me go back and click on Instructor Gradebook. I'm going to add in another one. So offline item, add an item, say Next, and then I'm going to keep putting it in that classwork bin. It's very important that you pick the correct category because if you don't, then it will all go haywire on the grading end. And then I'm going to call this 3.2 worksheet. And I graded that one out of, let's say, 36 points. I'm going to change chapters, turn all this off, and click that one. Save. And there we go. Next. I would put my grades in or not. You can actually go in and make these for all of your worksheets for the whole course ahead of time. And then if I go to look at the weights, now because there's 2 worksheets in the classwork area, here they are, you can see that it's counting the 3.2 for more because it's worth more points than the 3.1 worksheet, which just makes sense. For a weighted mean, the one that's worth more points is going to count for more of that 10%. So currently these 2 worksheets are splitting up the full 10%. But of course, these won't be the only 2 worksheets you'll have. You'll have lots and lots and lots of them. And so you can enter those categories as you like. Now, once you have the grades in here, a student from the main menu should be able to look at their MyStatLab Gradebook and be able to see their grades. Now, I haven't done anything, of course, because I'm a student, so I've got nothing in here at all. But I click Show Calculation, and it'll show me, hey, so far this is your homework grade, this is your classwork grade, and it'll show them their percentage on their classwork, then the midterms, the projects, the final, all that good stuff. So it'll all get calculated automatically for the student, and they'll be able to see their percentage at any point in the course. Now, the one caveat I have to this, and it's something to pay attention to as an instructor, when you're in the instructor gradebook, or when you're in the student gradebook for that matter, it only grades you out of what's been due so far. So if you have incompletes, if you have assignments you've never started, then it gives you a false sense of how high your grade is. So you want to make sure that after assignments have come due, and give it a week or two, you always get a few stragglers, but after assignments are due, you might want to manage incompletes. And you'll have a list here of every assignment that has a student is not finished or it hasn't been done. And what I do is I click Select All Past Due, and it'll check mark every assignment that has a student that's never done it. So like 1.3 and 1.4, it'll select them. And then I like to submit their current scores, not zeros. And then I can also apply a late penalty if they did them late. So those are my options. So you can submit their current scores. I generally just do that. Applying a late penalty is applying a late penalty to stuff that they did before it was late. So I don't bother to do that. And I submit zeros for students that have not started the assignment. So I do all of this and I go down to the bottom and I select submit. And it'll say, yep, you've done that, that's great. And then students won't have this false sense of, I've got 100% because it tells me so in MyStatLab. Well, it'll tell you that if you only did one assignment and got 100% on that assignment, it'll tell you that you have 100% for forever. But that's not actually fair because you really should have zeros for every assignment that you never did. And by doing this after the due dates, by this managing incompletes business, it'll make it so that students can actually see where they truly stand in the course. And it's also valuable for you. All right, I hope that helps with understanding how the instructor gradebook works. Again, I've already set up in the template course the weighting system, so it should match in your course, this weighting system. If it doesn't, you can play with change weights and you can add categories in here. If you edit your offline categories, you can fuss around with this. Let's say you made your syllabus slightly different than me. You made the projects worth 150, 15%, but you made the exams worth 40%. You can fuss around with that in here by editing that.